Hello everybody, this is Ina Coveney, your friendly neighborhood salary replacement strategist. What I do is I help people who work full-time start a side business so they can replace their salary so they can do whatever they want, right? Which is pretty much what I did after 15 years in corporate. And it's no surprise to you guys, I am launching my Be Found program again in May. It's starting in May and the launch is happening in April. The doors are opening in April. But guess what? I had a Thursday where I didn't have any meetings, February 27th of 2020. And I'm like, you know what? Why don't I talk to a few people who are actually interested in joining now and give them a really, really good deal for joining this early? Because the truth is that I don't have all the answers for the program right now. There are 3 big wild cards in the program that I haven't addressed yet because I'm still undergoing market research interviews. So those 3 things, let me see if I remember them because I'm doing this off the top of my head. These 3 things are, number 1 is I'm not sure if the program is going to run for 3 months or 4 months. I haven't decided that yet. I will decide that by April. So if you sign on early, like if you sign up this week, if you apply for the February 27th deadline, you will get $1,500 off of the cost of the program right now. But you have to accept those uncertainties. Program is either going to run for 3 or 4 months. Number 2, I am not sure if I'm going to be offering later a premium version of the program or a premium package added to the program where I manage your project. Basically, I will manage your developer and make sure that your website will meet my standards. Otherwise, in the program, I teach you how to work with a developer, which is the stuff that we're going to be talking about here, right? Creating your website on your own and hiring a developer, what you should know. And by the way, I have been making websites for a really long time. So I've been in the developer side for in my own side business for 8 years, in my professional life for 15 years. This is what I've been doing all this time. So I know the developer side, and I've also worked in consulting agencies where I am the project manager managing developers who create these sites for people. So I have the whole encompassing expertise to do this, and in the Be Found program, that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to teach you how do you work with a developer to make sure that you're getting the right price, that the project stays on budget, that the project stays on time, and that they're building exactly what you want. All that stuff we cover in Be Found. So I'm not sure if I'm going to offer a premium option for me to manage that project for you. Basically, like Erin says, she's watching right now, to hand it to you in a silver platter, right? So you're completely hands off, okay? The third thing is that I am not sure if I'm going to be running this time around in May, this program as a start and end project. Basically, you join, we have weekly meetings, we have weekly assignments that you have to stay on top of. And by the end of the 3 or 4 months, you will have your website. Everything will be completed and the program will be over. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be running it that way, start and end, or if I'm going to give you lifetime access to the materials, lifetime access to the coaching calls every week, and basically you go at your own pace. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do yet. So when you sign up early, those $1,500 off that you get is to accept that uncertainty. I will decide on those items by April, okay? So that's what's happening right now. So if you want to apply for the Be Found program, that's inacoveney.com/apply, and you get to see all of the details there. You get to see the price, you get to see how to qualify yourself. Are you ready for this program? There's a list there for you to check yourself and make sure this is right for you and how it works, okay? And also the bonuses that you get with signing up early, the bonuses that you get once you're in the program. So all of that stuff is in the application page. So why don't we dive into the content of this podcast episode, which is hiring someone versus doing your website yourself. Okay, I'm going to start with, I just want to show you the last slide, what you're going to learn after this. You're going to learn that people who make their own websites, they don't get as far as people who get their websites designed professionally. Now, I say that very carefully because it's possible that you are a technologist, you know how to make websites, right? So it's not a matter of knowing how to put it together. Anybody can go to Squarespace and create a website. That's not what you pay a developer to do, to put something together. You can do that yourself. So if that answers your question, whether you can create your website yourself, the answer is yes. Close this, go to Squarespace, sign up, and be done with it, right? That's the short answer. Here's the deal though, that when you do it that way, you're not getting the expertise that you need to know how to use your website right for business. So it's how you end up with, my former client, Farah Blakely. You can go to her website now. It's beautiful. It has her freebie, her digital product in there. It has her blog. It has her whole story. It has an entire cohesive message that attracts the kind of client that she wants. The website that she put together before, I wish I could show it to you. It did not send this message at all. There was a lot of writing in it. There was a video of her, Farah. Sorry that I'm saying all this stuff. This is stuff that you know already. It had a video of her introducing what she does, and the thumbnail of the video was her kind of like serious looking down at the camera. I guess she was setting it up. It must have been like the first frame of the video. So when you go to her website, the first thing you see was a video of her kind of like angry and looking down, and she's like, oh my God, like, why didn't anybody tell me that was like that, right? So making your website yourself, it's so much more than just knowing how to sign up for Squarespace and using a WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get, like a graphical display of putting things together. Anybody can make a website, like I said. Go to Squarespace and create one. Then you're done. You don't have to listen to this thing anymore, okay? But if you actually want to make an impactful website, one that really sends the message to your client that this is what I do, this is how I can help you, and really elevate your authority, that's the kind of website that people pay tens of thousands of dollars for others to make. People don't pay tens of thousands of dollars for a website that they can create themselves on Squarespace. And it has nothing to do with the technology. It has nothing to do with paying someone to know how to put a block here, above the page or below the page, right? Like I say, it takes the same effort to create a website where your name is at the top and your name is at the bottom. It's exactly the same number of clicks. So if you simplify it to just technical ability, you're thinking about this all wrong. Okay? If it was just about technical ability, then any company would just be able to hire a graduate student, a high school student, to put together a website. But that's not what they're looking for, and that's not what you should be looking for either. You should have really high standards for what you put on the website and how it creates that message, how it attracts the right client in a way that it rivals all of the other websites that people see. When people go to your website, they should be wowed. And it takes just as much effort to create a wow website than it is to create a simple website that doesn't do the work for you. The trick in bridging the gap is expertise, is knowing the essentials of web design. It's knowing the essentials of capturing an audience. It's knowing about online marketing and all the stuff a high school student can do for you and all the stuff Squarespace is not going to do for you. This is why people pay the big bucks for their website. This is why. To make sure that their website works. So next time that you say to yourself, well, I can just create a website on Squarespace, I know that you're not my kind of people. I know that you have not learned enough about online marketing to know that it takes so much more than just putting some blocks together on Squarespace. Because if that's how you think, you still have a lot of work to do in learning about your own online presence. A lot of work to do. So if that's how you think, come back next year. Okay? Wait a year. Make your website. In fact, I have some tips in here for you if you're going to do that yourself. Go ahead and make your website. But once you're ready to get really serious with your business and you want your website to do the work for you, that's when you come back and say, okay, Ina, I'm ready to invest in this because it's ridiculous that my website is really not doing the job for me. Okay? So I'm going to just get that out of the way first, which is, when do you know that you should be making your website yourself? I'm going to tell you, if you meet this criteria, you do not need to join the BeFound program. You do not need to pay somebody else to do it. Okay, just do it yourself. Criteria number 1, you're not sure how to monetize your business yet. Okay, so if you haven't started making money, you're not sure who you serve, maybe you haven't even had clients yet, maybe you really don't know what your business plan is, like how you're going to make money, right? Then this sounds a little bit like you're still in the hobby and playing with the idea stage. Right? You're not really serious about really getting this started. Okay? So Just make whatever website will make you happy, whatever website you can pat yourself on the back that you spent a lot of time and effort in it and that you can be proud of it, and just keep going. Once you realize that you need a lot more than just that, you'll come back. Okay? Number 2, another criteria for you to just make the website yourself. You're still playing with the idea of a business. So maybe you're thinking of not monetizing this at all. You don't want to get clients yet. You're afraid of getting clients. You think that you're still 6 months away or a year away from starting to get clients. Make your website yourself. Number 3, you're not sure if this is what you want to do. So you've decided, okay, I want to start a business doing this, but I'm not sure if that's really what I want to do. Okay? And you think that your next step is to make a website? Then just go to Squarespace. There's no need to pay thousands of dollars for you to not even know what to do. Okay? And number 4, you just need a business card. So there are 2 ways to use your website. Okay? One is to use it as a business card. So it's just something to put on your business card, right? Say my website is inacoveney.com, right? Go there and you can find my contact information there. If that's all you need, go to Squarespace. Okay? So that's basically the end of the list. As you notice, I am biased because I believe that if you're serious about your business, this list will sound ridiculous. This list will sound like somebody who really doesn't know what they're doing, right? They have no idea right now, and they're not thinking ahead. They're not thinking they actually want to get clients right now. They don't really know what they're doing. Why would anybody in that mindset spend thousands of dollars for anything? They shouldn't. They don't. Do whatever you want. So if you do that, if you make your website yourself, I'm just going to give you just a few things that you should set yourself for expectations, okay? Because just spending the time making your website, it will make you feel accomplished, right? It will make you feel like, oh my God, like I finally have a website that is out there. It's not perfect, but I'm proud of it. I'm pretty happy with what I did, okay? Let's set the expectations, okay? Number 1, remember that people are not gonna find you through your website because your website has not been optimized for ranking on Google, for having the right keywords, for staying relevant and current, for having the right message that people are really looking for, because those things are things that you don't get out of Squarespace. Those things that you get out of an expert who can tell you what to put where and what and how. Okay? Number 2, you're probably not going to be focusing on capturing traffic. What does capturing traffic mean? It means that when somebody visits your site, you actually get to know who that person is. Right? Know that if you make your website yourself, just let go of the expectation that you know who those people are, because you won't. Okay? Basically, that's just a business card that is not doing anything for you actively. It's just something pretty for people to see, and you have no idea if people are coming to take a look at it, and like you can't capture leads from that kind of site. Number 3, if you're thinking of putting ads on your website and you make your website yourself, I'm just going to kill the mystery right now. These things don't work like that. You need to get a lot of traffic for you to get even one purchase. So putting ads on your website, it might be something to play with. It's something that I played with. You guys have any idea how many websites I started? Every time that I came up with a business idea, I would come up with a new website. I put ads on my website. Nobody would ever click on it. I mean, I'm like, why are people clicking on it? Because I wasn't getting traffic, because I wasn't optimizing my website for traffic. Period. So just so you know, if you decide to put ads on your website and you're noticing that people are not clicking on it, that is why, because your website is not optimized for any of these things. Number 4, your blog is going to be sporadic at best and abandoned at worst. I have seen this happen. Blogs get started, but because you think that nobody's watching, you just kind of stop. And that hurts you. That hurts the ability for people to find you through your blog. Finally, another expectation that I want you to know is that this is not a business website that works for you. It's just something to give yourself a pat in the back, but it's not going to help you get clients, okay? If you feel like I'm being too harsh, if I feel like I'm giving you too much tough love, that's exactly what I'm doing. Because this is one of those messages that I wish I could grab you by the shoulders and shake you and tell you, I have seen so much of the same phenomenon over and over that it's really hard for me to watch you go through this the way that I've seen other people go through this, is to make their website themselves and then scratch their heads like, why isn't this website giving me clients? Why isn't this website helping me out? Why am I not getting clicks? Why am I not getting traffic? All of that stuff, right? So, but guess what? Because none of that is magic, all that stuff you need expertise for, you gotta be sure that this is where you want to take your business. I'm not going to tell anybody that they need to spend thousands of dollars right now or they're doomed. Okay, that's not what I mean. That's why I gave you that list above or a little while ago, telling you like, if you meet this criteria, just make the website yourself. Basically, if you're not sure of anything yet, if you don't know that you want to monetize it, if you don't know that you want clients, if you don't know what to do next, if you don't know, if there's so many uncertainties that you're still kind of just playing with the idea, make your own website. Okay? What I'm about to tell you, the tips that I'm about to tell you, are for people who want an expert website out there that really elevates their authority. And I'm going to tell you, this is not so far off because like I said, it takes the same effort to make a great website than it is to not make a great website, right? So, but that's where the thousands of dollars difference comes in, is knowing how to create it in a way that is impactful and that it makes people go, wow. Just last week, somebody was telling me, like, 2 people in 2 weeks, right? I don't get a lot of compliments on my website because I don't live on my website. I live on Facebook, right? But 2 people that I talked to told me they checked my website and they said, wow, this is a good website. I'm like, thank you. I worked really hard on it. Now I'm a developer, right? In fact, it took me months to get that website up and running. In fact, because I just wanted minimum viable product out there, I still don't have an about page. People find out about me through my podcast and through the blog podcast and through the homepage, but I still don't have an about page because it was taking me so long to create it, right? That I just kind of just put it out there. I still don't have an about page, right? So my point is, creating a wow website is totally within your grasp. You can do this, okay? So this is what I wanted to tell you. When I started, every time that I came up with a business idea, I would spin up a website because I know how to do that, because it was low-hanging fruit. I would just go and create a website. It never worked. It never worked because even though I had the technical expertise to do this, I didn't have the online marketing experience. I didn't have guidance from other people telling me what to do. I didn't know why I was doing it. I had a freebie that never saw the light of day because I had no idea how it fit into my funnel, how it fit into how I'm attracting clients, what kind of clients I'm trying to attract. I didn't have all the answers to that, okay? But if I had decided that this is the business that I want to start, that's where the BFund program really comes in. Because in the BFund program, we don't just create your website. We start with your market research, identifying your ideal client, creating your freebie, a freebie that is going to be super relevant to your offer so you can put it on your website so we can design your website right, okay? So what if you're in this other camp? So these are some qualifications for you if you need to get somebody else to make your website, okay? And by the way, unless you have experience creating websites, I would really suggest that you let somebody else do it. It doesn't have to be prohibitively expensive. It will cost money, okay? Just like any CEO in their business, you do have to invest your money. And I'm going to tell you that right now, I'm not a financial advisor, but when I had my business, my side hustle, I just hogged my money. I just hoarded it in a bank account, and all it did was pay an incredible amount of taxes without spending it, without reinvesting it in the business. I was just paying a lot of taxes on it. The moment that I started really investing in the business, my taxes went down. In fact, we got a big refund. So I am not a tax advisor. Do not take my word for it. I'm just telling you, reinvest the money from your business. Use it. Put money towards your business. So, and this is a really good way to do it so that people can see that you're a big deal online. So, what if you're in this other camp? Let's say that you've had a website for a while, but it's not really helping your business. You're proud of the work that went into it, but the truth is that it's not helping you get clients. You're not even sure that it gives the right message out there of what you do. Okay? You know that a competitive website is going to help you get to the next level, but you have no idea how to do it. And it may take you months and months to teach yourself how to do it. Next, you don't just want to pay a developer. You want somebody who's going to give you a really good design, who's going to tell you this is the kind of design that works. This is the design that is going to make an impact. This is the design that is going to attract and retain the traffic that you get. You need that expertise. Also, you know that you need more than just a website. You need to know how to market yourself and figure out how your website fits into it. So if you're in that camp where you're really ready to step it up, where you're ready for somebody to go to your website and be wowed and to know exactly how you can help them, then that's when you pay somebody else to make your website. But it's not just paying somebody else to make your website. You need somebody who's going to be an expert at designing it and tell you how it fits into your business. That is what the Be Found program helps you do. Because I'm going to tell you right now, somebody could come to me and tell me, this is what I want on my website. I can't promise you that I'm going to make a wow website for you without really knowing what your people need, who your ideal client is, what you offer in your business. There's a lot of things that I need to know in order to design a website that is going to be really impactful for you. And most of the time, new entrepreneurs don't really know the answers to those questions. Even if they have started getting clients, they're not really sure that that's the kind of clients that they wanted to attract to begin with. Those are the kind of clients that are only paying me $15 an hour. I don't want to work for $15 an hour. I want to work for $150 an hour. I want to work for $250 an hour. So how do I present myself online in a way that when they go to my website, they say, yep, she's worth it, because I have compared this to other websites and this person seems to be an expert and they know what they're talking about and it's going to be worth the money because they're going to do the job right. That's the kind of persons I want you to have. Not the kind of persons that when somebody looks at it, it just has like selfies of you and it has a message that doesn't resonate with your audience at all. Because that is just a recipe for people to want to pay you $15 an hour. And that is not the kind of business I want you to have, because that's not the way to replace your salary in 1 year. Can't do it at $15 an hour. I want you to be an authority. And there's a way to do this in just a few months. So I actually want you to visit these websites, to go to farahblakely.com, usual spelling, farahblakely.com, and take a look at Farah's new website. Without scrolling, just look at the first page of her website. Can you tell what she does? Can you tell what her offer is? What does she do? How does she help people? The answer is yes, you know. What she does is an empowerment coach for divorcees. Okay, the first thing you see is confidence after divorce. And her freebie right there, how to go from dependent to independent without your spouse. Right there, without scrolling, without reading, I can tell what she does. You can also go to Dr. Reva Robinson's website. And if you go to her first page, okay, it shows a picture of her as a bodybuilder and a picture of her on the other side, just like living life and looking carefree. And the tagline is, keep your glow after the show. She's a doctor that helps bodybuilders keep healthy and stay healthy even if they're not training for a competition, right? That's what she does. But when you look at that image, it like hits you right in the eyes. And if I could show you a side-by-side picture of what it was before versus what it is now, you would see the difference and you would see where the expertise comes in, right? So what I want for you is to step up your game, okay? So I wanted to give you some tips on how to talk to developers and what to expect when you're in a developer vendor situation, because I want you to be successful, okay? So having been on both sides, having been on the project management side and on the developer side, I'm going to tell you this and I want you to remember it forever, okay? Developers are going to do their best at giving you what you want, but they're not mind readers, okay? So it takes a very, very special developer to have a project management background to understand how to ask you for what you need so that when they go and build it, it's exactly what you wanted, right? I have a process for doing this. This is how, when I make the websites for my clients, I guide them through an entire process to make sure that whatever I build, they will love. Okay? And I tell them, if you don't like anything, you tell me, we fix it. I work with them like that. All right? Then you run into keeping the project on budget and on time. How do you do that? If you've ever worked with a contractor before, you know that projects have a way of getting scope creep, right? Of all of a sudden, there's one more thing to do that wasn't included in the original scope, or you see that budget inflate, right? I'm going to tell you one thing. Developers who are inexperienced with budgets with clients, there's two things that can happen, okay? Because I'm going to tell you right now, remember this. Projects always find some scope creep in there, okay? Always. It's very, very rare for a project to get all of the requirements up front and to actually complete all of the requirements in the time allotted. It's like almost an impossible proposition because there's always new things you want to add and new things you want to change. So the inexperienced developer is going to one of two things. Number one, they could be too embarrassed to go back to you and ask you for more money. Okay? They are inexperienced. They want to get your business again. They want to get a good testimonial. They don't want to surprise you. But guess what? You had been asking for some things that you didn't think were a big deal, and the developer just missed the boat on explaining to you that that would change the scope on the project. So they just went and did it anyway, and it started inflating their time. So one of the things that an inexperienced developer will do is just eat that cost, and you might not even find out about it. Okay? I have done this. I have made websites that I thought would be really, really easy and simple to make, and I shortchanged myself off of thousands of dollars worth of billings because I was inexperienced in how to communicate to a client that what they're asking me for is going to change the budget and the scope. So I didn't. I just ate it, and a lot of people do that. Okay? So that's one way that you'll do it. And by the way, it's not a great thing to do. You will never find out as the client, but it's not great because you as a client won't know how this person is going the extra mile to keep you happy. And on the developer side, they will start to feel resentment towards every request that comes thereafter because they're like, I'm already not making money on this project and you're still asking me for things. So it's not a great relationship to have with your developer. Okay? And guess what? If you're working with an inexperienced developer, it is on you to set the expectations for this. That's why I'm teaching you this. Don't rely on them being project management experts. Okay? You be the project manager and you tell them, if there's anything that I'm asking that is outside of the scope, come back and let me know so we can discuss how it affects the budget before you do it. You do that. Okay? The second thing that they might do is to just not tell you at the time that it's incurring more money, and at the end you get an inflated bill. And then you are surprised. You're just spending a whole lot of money that you didn't expect to spend. And now you're having a fight with them over, why are you charging me 30% more than you quoted me? And they'll come back and tell you because you asked for things that were in the scope. And then you'll come back and say, why didn't you tell me that it was outside of the scope? And they'll come back and tell you because you should know that, because you created the scope, right? It's a really ugly conversation to have. That's why you be the grown-up. Especially if you're hiring somebody who is inexperienced, you will be the project manager to say, this is the scope, this is the budget. You tell me when we start to get out of it so that we can have that discussion. Okay? Now, what happens if all those things happen with an experienced project manager? I'll tell you what I do. I keep track of my scope and I keep track of the budget. And if they ever ask me for anything that is outside, I put it on a parking lot. A parking lot is basically just a list of things that they've asked me for that were not originally included. And I am open with them. I explain that process to them way up front. And then as they ask me for things, I reply saying, okay, I'm going to add that to the parking lot. So at the end of the project, once I've built the things that they wanted me to build, right? And I'm keeping an eye on that parking lot to make sure that I'm not going to be doing double work. I go back to them and I say, okay, the website has basically been done to your requirements. Here are the things you asked me for. Let's talk about how much time it's going to take and what it's going to take to put them in there so that you can approve that budget. And then you have a choice to say, yes, I want that, or no, I don't want that. And now it's on you, right? So it's about communication. So an expert developer is going to keep you apprised of it and is going to not let the project or the timeline get inflated based on things that you're asking for that to you, they're no big deals, but to the developer, it's time on them. So when you work with a developer, you be the grown-up. You be the one keeping an eye on the project and you be the one managing them. Not every developer is built the same way. Not every developer is going to react the same way. Okay? And in the Be Found program, by the way, I'm going to give you all of these lessons and more, right? I'm going to give you project plans. I'm going to be like, this is how you keep your project up to date. This is how you keep your project from getting spilled over with budget and timeline issues. Okay, I teach you how to do that. Now, if that sounds a little bit intimidating to you, I want to tell you, it doesn't have to be. You're going to end up with a wonderful website. And as the CEO, you got to know that you're going to be dealing with vendors. You're going to be dealing with providers. And this is just one of those cases. So the good news is that once you go through it once, right? You don't have to go through it again for another year, a couple of years, but you will revamp your website at some point. And now you have that expertise. Now you can hire a project manager if you want and say like, hey, somebody else deal with that. But you are managing the project manager at this point, and you better know what the pitfalls are so you can warn them, because now you're managing them. So as the CEO, you have to just get through this no matter what. Okay? And the right way to do it is, it's not an intuitive process. So that's what I teach you in the Be Found program, is how to deal with that. Okay? So I also want you to go to the website that I just made for Ann Casale Skinner. She is a realtor in the North Boston area, and her website is Casale, is CASALE -Skinner.com. And I remember I was having a conversation with someone over the past week, and I put up that website. First screen, there's minimal text on it, and I asked this person, what does Ann do? Okay, it looks like she's a realtor. Okay, who does she serve? People who want to sell their luxury home. Boom. That's exactly right. That's exactly what we were going for. So building a website that really creates that kind of effect is my sweet spot. And I'm going to teach you how to do that on Be Found so that you don't waste your time and you don't waste your resources on people who are not going to make the website right. Okay, so I wanted to tell you that. I wanted to give you some expert tips on dealing with developers, which I just did. And finally, the success recipe for a website that works for you. Okay, the success recipe is to just not jump into making a website unless you know who you are serving and how you are serving them. Because when somebody lands on your website, without the need to scroll and without the need to read whole paragraphs, they should get what you do and who you serve. They should know that. So that's the recipe for a great website. Okay? So if you're still thinking about your business like it's, you're not really sure when you're going to start to get clients, there's no need for you to go all bank in on this. But if you are ready to be compared to others in a favorable way, to elevate your authority and your expertise so that you can actually start to get clients that are going to pay you more than $10 an hour, then great. The Be Found program is exactly for you. And we don't just jump in with creating the website. We jump in with finding out who you serve and how to make sure your website is going to be super impactful. And by the end of the program, you will have a beautiful online presence and you will be equipped as a CEO who is savvy about how to get themselves out there online. So if that sounds appealing to you, I think it's basically a necessary first step for businesses who are serious about getting clients. I truly believe that. If people were looking at my website and it looked like I made it over a weekend with some selfies, that would not really speak to my authority in what I'm talking about at all. It really wouldn't. And I don't want that to happen to you. So I don't want to come here and just tell you anybody can make their website, because to me, it's just not true. It's just not true. Creating an expert website is something people pay tens of thousands of dollars for, and there's a reason for that. And the reason is that there's a lot of expertise in there that you may not have right now, that you can just get a shortcut by hiring somebody who knows it. And it has nothing to do with just hiring a developer, because a developer will not know either. Developers are not marketers. Okay? So in the BFound program, we combine both technical expertise, online marketing expertise, and get your business to pop online in just a few months. By the end of the summer, you will be that person that people will say, wow, when they go to their site. And you're ready to charge $150 an hour, not 20. Okay? So that can happen in just a few months. You're not a year away. You're not 2 years away. You're not 3 years or 5 years away. This can happen this year. So go to inacoveney.com/apply because the early decision package is only available this week. February 27th is the deadline to apply. I got 5 spots left to talk to people who apply for the early decision. All right? So go and grab your spot. By the end of this week, I am going into hibernation for the month of March because I'm actually playing the developer role in the current version of BFound, and I need to make 3 websites in the month of March. So I'm going to go into hibernation to really do my thing, and I can't wait to show you guys when I come out of hibernation in April what these websites look like. And it has nothing to do with the fact that I built them. Okay, it has a lot to do with the fact that I have the expertise to know what goes on the page, and I'm teaching you that in the BFound program. I'm just playing the role of the developer. You get to play the role of the mastermind, and I teach you how to do this on BFound. Okay, so super excited to show you that in April. Okay, if you have any questions, just like Alexander, one of the members of my community, I've been having a great conversation with over personal message, over PMs in messaging on Facebook, just send me a message. Just ask me a question. And if you've looked at the page, at the application page, and you've looked at the price, and you've looked at the self-qualification tips to make sure that this program is right for you and you feel like you fit it, go to inacoveney.com/apply and enroll there. Actually, you can't enroll right away. You apply. We have a conversation February 27th or February 28th, okay? Really short meeting, you and me, to talk about what your goals are. I really want to make sure that people who sign up for the program will be successful in the program. I don't want just anybody. I've run programs before that people have paid for it and then disappeared after a week. That doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve me. I want people in there who are all in, who want to learn this, and who are ready to put themselves out there. So as a conversation we're going to have, make sure you check all the boxes, and we'll let you into the program with your $1,500 discount, your $2,500 developer credit, and your $500 photographer credit, because those things are part of the program, but they're not included. So I'm reducing the price by those so that you can go out and get yourself a developer with my guidance, and you can go out and get your photos taken locally, however way you want. Those credits are not redeemable for cash, and they're not adjustable based on the actual spend that you spend on your developer or your photographer. But these are some of the perks that you get by signing up early. So I really hope to see you on my calendar there. I am going to stop talking now because I could talk about this for another hour. I don't think you want me to. I hope that guidance was helpful. I have been managing these projects for a very long time, and I know every pitfall you can imagine. I have been through it. I have handled it. I want to teach you how to be the best CEO and get your online presence ready to be the expert by the end of the summer. No more dilly-dallying, no more playing house. It's time to be the CEO. It's time to set up your business right. Okay. I can't wait to see some of you out there. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye. Yay, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to click subscribe right here. And if you're a podcast listener, go and search for Trailblazing Out of Corporate Life, and you'll get me through your ears. All right, guys, have a great one, and don't forget, right here, subscribe.